Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast. Cameron Jones here, always with
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
Spring is sprung, or is springing. I think it's supposed to snow in a couple days, but the weather's warming up here in Chicago.
It's budding.
It is budding outside.
Maybe the first spring I've experienced in Chicago.
Well,
we're actually getting some nicer weather. Well, you just said it's about to snow, but some nicer weather lately.
Yeah, it's not been too shabby. So in that spirit, we're gonna also sprang into spring.
Yep.
And we're going to start this off with a baseball movie. What movie are we doing, Jordan?
We're doing the 1992 baseball classic, A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own is the story of the All-American baseball team while our boys were overseas fighting World War II.
We've got your Tom Hanks.
There's no crying in baseball!
I Love You and the Wizard of Oz.
Geena Davis. Lori Petty. Madonna.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Megan Cavanaugh. Tracy Reiner. David Straighthairn. A sneaky Bill Pullman.
Always is.
Not really a sneaky Jon Lovitz, but a Jon Lovitz nonetheless.
This is based on a true story movie, not actual
loosely based.
Loosely based. They kind of took an amalgam of a couple baseball
the
players.
The league is real. The players are sort of not.
So although this is the story of the first female baseball league, and it is also
and the last.
It is also just the story of two sisters battling against each other for notoriety and fame.
Wrong. It's one sister battling with her far superior older sister. Lay off the high ones.
I like the high ones. A League of Their Own.
Alrighty. A League of Their Own, directed by Penny Marshall.
She has come up before on the podcast when we talked about Hocus Pocus.
She's Laverne and Shirley.
She's a Laverne and Shirley.
That's probably her most notable.
That's where she got her break. Obviously, she cast in this movie Garry Marshall, her brother. But outside of A League of Their Own, which is great, she also directed Big, and there's your Tom Hanks.
Yes, she has a couple connections with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, which is cool. And then a handful of other movies. If you're Jordan Jones, you watched 1994's Renaissance Man. It was on USA for about 4 years of my childhood.
Penny Marshall cast Tracy Reiner, her daughter as Betty Spaghetti. We already said Garry Marshall came in as Walter Harvey. And then she wanted Christopher Walken. But
that's her daughter's Tracy?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so there's a whole Tom Hanks, Penny Marshall connection then, because Tracy Reiner's in Big, she's in That Thing You Do, and she's also in Apollo 13.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, nepotism.
And then she also cast her niece, Kathleen Marshall, as Gary's daughter. She's Mumbles in the outfield. So quite a few of the Marshalls in here.
Nice.
Love it. Love to see it.
Should we move on to the starring cast?
Yeah. I will say Penny Marshall, the name didn't sound too familiar to me, but once you see the face, you're like, oh, like that's Laverne and that's Laverne.
Which I've actually never seen Laverne and Shirley. I know what
it came up on, like,
I know
TV
the opening
Land.
title.
Yeah.
But I really only know it from Wayne's World. Hassa Pizza Incorporated, whatever it is.
Okay, yeah. Starring, I'll say Geena Davis. I know her mostly just as a child from the mom from Stuart Little, but I think probably most people would say Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise would probably be the main icon.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, Beetlejuice, yeah. Beetlejuice for me probably
it's
is actually the biggest
Stuart
one.
Thelma Louise, this, Beetlejuice, and, of course, Stuart Little.
Not ashamed.
I wouldn't
Little white
be.
fucking mouse. Little rat bastard. Lori Petty plays Kit.
You're going to know her from 3 big movies of my childhood. You've got A League of Their Own, which is obviously great, and we're doing it. Mm-hmm. Go back and listen to our Point Break episode. She co-stars against Keanu Reeves.
Most importantly, did you say Free Willy already?
I'm coming to that. And then most importantly, Free Willy.
Snubbed him again.
Jeez. Yeah. All right, moving on.
We've got Madonna, sort of speaks for itself. She plays May. This seems like right in her, like, almost peak.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her song Vogue came out in 1990. This is 92. Like, she's right
Yeah, I'd say she's in the
in
sweet
her
spot.
peak of fame.
I also think this is before people started disliking her for being British and annoying or whatever.
Also,
Evita's
check out
around
Evita. I was about to say.
Yeah.
Controversial Rosie O'Donnell plays Doris Murphy, third baseman.
Not at the time.
Base woman.
You know who Rosie O'Donnell is.
We know she is.
A fan of musical theater.
A friend in Sleepless in Seattle.
Megan Cavanaugh plays Marla Hooch. Love this character. tough for her. It seems like it's her first role in movies. This one.
I
find
didn't
anything
know her
earlier on
before anything else.
IMDb.
I do knew one other role that Cameron quite likes her in. She's not made Marion's. She has made Marion's like
Oh, true.
henchwoman
And
to watch her.
we have talked
in
about it before.
Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Oh, yeah. We go back and see our episode
What
of
do they
Robin
call
Hood
her?
Men in
It's
Tights.
like
Frau.
Broom
Yeah. And then she's also in the less respected, but
Hold on.
still not bad. Go ahead.
the Thumb movies. Don't.
No, I don't know her from
Okay,
the Thumb
Cameron, you're
movies.
gonna love this. She's like a major role in the Thumb movies.
Oh, interesting. Just for background story, there are some movies that were made with superimposed faces on some thumbs that reenacted classic movies that were just called Thumb movies that Mark and I liked.
Today it'd be somebody's YouTube channel, but in the 1999 it was a
We just
movie.
published it. Yeah.
True. It was a video
Shout out
cassette.
Steve Odenkirk. Yeah, she was like the.
Not
what'd
to
they
be
call it?
confused with Bill Odenkirk. We've done that. Sorry.
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. We've done this before. Just another guy.
Just
right?
another Odenkirk.
Just another Odenkirk
Gotta love
doing
the
work.
Odenkirks.
She's also in Dracula Dead and Loving It in the exact same role, co-starring the exact same actress.
Possibly
that
even the
plays
exact
Marion.
same line of oof kind of thing.
It seems very similar.
But I like it, and I like her.
So what's the thought when like someone approaches you to like get casted and you're like, we need someone that we're just gonna shit on for their looks. Like you need to be ugly.
I wouldn't take it, and that's why I haven't gotten ahead in this world. Because I could play.
Right.
I could play the ugly person. She's cashing checks. You know what I mean?
Let's see, Tracy Reiner. We've already talked about her a little bit, but she plays Betty Horn.
Like we said,
Left field.
a bunch of things with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks gal, if you will. Big, That Thing You Do, Apollo 13.
Those are all huge movies for me.
She's the mom in Big, is what I remember her mostly from.
Don't recognize her in that at all. Don't remember the mom at all.
I can't recognize her in the other two, so that's at least
I can't think of her from
Something.
That Thing You Do. I know who she is in
Apollo 13.
Paul 13. She's Bill Paxton's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, but I cannot remember her in any way in That Thing You Do. Maybe just a
me
musical act or something, just sprinkled in there somewhere.
David Strathairn. He plays Ira. He's
He's
whatever he
baseball
played
operations.
in We Are Marshall.
He's the coach in We Are. He's not. He's like the dad, or no, he's like the administrator in We Are Marshall, right?
So he's the
dean.
administrator.
Yeah.
Let's just call him that.
He's in the Bourne series. I do remember him. At
Oh,
some
you're gonna
point being
love
there.
him from all the places I know him from my young childhood. He's the like highest commander in Memphis Belle.
True.
Bingo Bango Bongo. He plays the king that doesn't get to go into the magical forest in Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Also
Bingo
true.
Bango Bongo. And obviously his biggest movie is Good Night
Godzilla?
and Good Luck.
Good Night, Good Luck.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for it. Really good movie. Check it out. Overlooked. Definitely forgotten. Directed by George Clooney.
I'm not going to get too deep into the lineup of the
Yeah.
Rockford Peaches,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
we've
But
got
we are
John.
going to go hard on Racine's team.
We're going to go on the Racing Bells. Man, stacked.
Stacked.
No, but Jon Lovitz and Bill Pullman are also in the movie. Bill Pullman, we obviously know from Independence Day. Jon Lovitz, maybe Rat Race.
You know what? I'm going to say I know Bill Pullman from Lake Placid. Is he in Lake Placid? He's in there, right?
I know him from Spaceballs and Independence Day and Newsies.
Or Lake Placid.
And
That's
being
about it for me,
confused
though.
with Bill Paxton.
Oh, Old Stillwell. Hate that name, by the way. Old Stillwell. We were watching Leprechaun like a few months back, and Cameron's like, "That's fucking Stillwell."
Oh,
Turns out it is.
is that guy's been in something
Pee Wee
else.
Herman.
Pee Wee Herman, is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
got
yeah, I
a
did
look
see
that
that.
once you see him, you're like, I know that guy.
I've seen that fucking guy.
I don't know how he got into acting because
I feel like facial hair would help a lot with that baby face kind of vibe he's got going on. That's why.
this will tiptoe on unverified, but the first baseman for the Racine Bells is Taylor Leone. Taylor Leone.
There we go.
You may remember her from stuff.
Cool.
I don't.
She's in The Family Man, co-starring Nicolas Cage. You may remember that Christmas gem.
Okay.
She's in Spanglish. She's the mom and wife in there.
Oh, okay.
My
Yeah.
mom loves
All right.
Spanglish. So
I
should
love
know that.
Spanglish. She'll know. Shout out to Mark's mom.
Let's move on to unverified.
This one has a surprising amount of unverified information.
It really does. Anytime we do a movie that's based
true.
on a true story, at least lightly, there's just so many facts that relate to real life and the movie that I feel like that's why we get.
So
to
let's
these
make a
ones.
blanket statement that this is based off of a real league, but fictionalized characters, an amalgam of real people.
This one is a rumor with real fact in there. So apparently Madonna was just hard to work with, not necessarily maybe with the crew, but while she was filming in different towns and locations, I guess Madonna was kind of rude. So during
Did you say she was being sort of a prima
Donna? Oh, nice.
I'm sorry. I'm zing.
No, she was Madonna by then, Mark. During the World Series scenes, there was just a lot of time in between takes. So Tom Hanks and Rosie O'Donnell were doing
Just gems. Just the best people in the world, probably.
We're doing puppet shows in the dugout for them, and Rosie O'Donnell was doing stand-up in between takes. And apparently Madonna was making fun of them for belittling themselves and entertaining the crowd. So then they started doing impressions of Madonna acting like a prima donna for the crowd.
That's fun. That doesn't surprise me in the least. Did you know that Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna started a friendship on the set of this movie that they still continue today?
I believe it because you know what? They did seem believable, the chemistry between them.
Yeah, they did have real chemistry. Plus,
You know what? I'll stand Rosie Moldana.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that.
Here's a fun
the
fact
spot.
that I wondered about. You know that scene when Rosie O'Donnell throws those 2 baseballs?
Mm-hmm.
She actually just can't play baseball, and that was her doing it. She can throw 2 baseballs at once and name them.
She learned that from an extra on set, though.
I
did you?
gasped
It's impressive.
When
That-
that,
it's
when
impressive.
that happened, I gasped.
It's truly impressive.
That's far less impressive to me than people just throwing a baseball and being able to catch it barehanded. If you're being a professional baseball player, hopefully you can do that.
So you're gonna wonder: do some of these people do they have baseball backgrounds? And most of the actresses don't, but they auditioned over 2,000 girls, and before they could
Much
audition,
like the plot of the movie.
that's true. Before any of
that's
the
fun. I like that.
any of the actors could audition for speaking roles, they had to prove that they could play baseball before Penny Marshall would audition them. The only 2 people that they wrote characters for, Geena Davis didn't have to prove that she could play baseball.
About to say, she looks maybe like the least athletic.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Those at bats you can definitely tell are just popping up and not great. But
But do you know who the second person is? The role was written
Can I
for.
guess?
Yes.
We'll say it again. Say the whole thing before I guess.
Well, it'll give it away. This role was written for this actor.
Shit.
just Madonna.
Nope.
Kit.
Jon Lovitz.
Oh, actually, I did know
Lovitz.
that.
Sorry,
yeah.
Jon Lovitz wrote the role for him. He was a must-have.
Johnson Gordon Levitt.
Johnson Gordon Levitt.
Question for you guys: who do you think the best natural baseball players were out of the team in real life?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Who was the other one?
Marla Hooch.
It was Kit. She actually
She looked the best.
She actually played. She was the only girl on the boys' baseball team growing up, and her and Rosie O'Donnell would have batting contests. I guess also in between takes.
Well, you could tell Rosie's a slugger.
Yeah, she could put it down.
Rosie can
Rosie
go yard.
originally auditioned for the Marla Hooch role, which I guess makes sense, because she's bigger and robust or whatever. But they ended up going with Megan McCavan or whatever her name is, and
Megan Cavanaugh, yep.
they completely wrote a new role for Rosie O'Donnell. They just developed the character around her, which makes sense. She's got all those
part of the
qualities.
reason also Rosie O'Donnell said this was probably just joking that why she got so much more screen time is that she was the only one that could communicate with Penny Marshall's thick New York accent. They understood each other, so she could
That might
direct.
be true.
So she could direct the crew better. So if she was in more scenes, she could just kind of direct also through it.
And she brought that thick New York accent to Tarzan, and she's like, "This
Very
gorilla
true.
has
Oh yeah.
a New York
Very-
accent.
yeah.
It's from Queens."
Just to give some credit, because we are saying this is like an amalgam of people, but the real person Dottie was mostly based off of was Dottie Collins. She was there during the World War II startup league. She played for 6 years though, and not just the first opening season. So she was actually a pretty big
The
icon.
league, it started in 42 and went to 47.
Seven.
Yeah, and that's real unverified.
Well, actually, I do have a little marketing behind why it did work and last after the boys came back from the war, and it was mostly a Midwest regional thing, and these were at places that didn't necessarily have professional baseball yet and were more rural, so they could just get farm communities.
So
to come
kind of
out.
replace the farm league / minor leagues.
So
really.
actually, the reason it went away is when major television baseball games came up, people just didn't have the need to go see these minor league teams anymore. So television is what actually killed the league.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, milking cows definitely puts the farm in farm league.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
get that. I'm gonna talk about they could be from anywhere if you're making them up. I think the original sisters were from Canada somewhere, Saskatchewan, if I'm correct. And it
Near
could
and
be-
far.
Yeah. So if you're gonna put farmers in Oregon, I'm biased. Put them in the Midwest.
Yeah, at
or
least-
make them something else in Oregon.
Hey, they've got farms in Oregon. Let's not Oregon
They do.
shame.
I'm not Oregon shaming here.
TV has taught me
is
that
not
we
an
all want our
Oregon-shaming
farmers from
podcast.
Kansas. Just let us have it at least from Kansas. It's nearby.
I prefer.
I
them to be
have
Iowa.
a few that haven't been touched on, but the Tom Hanks pissing scene, or the peeing scene, more PC.
That's some good peeing.
But I guess Penny Marshall was like the stall over, like using a hose, like trying to, like just the
keep
comedic
it
time
going.
of them both not really knowing when each one was going to start or stop. That's funny.
I mean, right now, off the top of my head, this is not our Mount Rushmore, but play along at home. Mount Rushmore peeing scenes in movies. You got this.
Austin Powers.
You got Austin Powers, and that's
Yes.
all I could think of. That's why it's not
It's
a top
almost-
4.
Which one came out first?
This one
This
came
one.
out first.
Very
Both comic. I think this one might be.
It's pretty funny.
Maybe funnier.
I had it written down. It's about a minute. It's like 53
I like
seconds,
when he's
I
like,
believe.
"Oh, thank God."
It keeps going.
So supposedly there's a 4-hour director's cut of this movie with a bunch of subplots that I will not go over. Check it out. But
Well,
a 4-hour movie.
I know one
Jeez.
subplot that's this is. I think you guys are going to find this kind of funny. So Jon Lovitz actually had a much more likable character, and he was around it a lot in the beginning of the story. But they found that test audiences found it way funnier when they just kept in his harshest lines than all of his takes. So they cut out like a third or like 2/3 of his entire plot and just kept those zingers where he was mocking him. And it is really memorable, though.
It's so much better. It's the perfect amount of Jon Lovitz.
It
really
already
is.
doesn't need to be an over 2-hour movie, but
I will say this though, compliment, it moves, and I'll get into that. It's just it doesn't have
sports movies like this do because you got your semifinals, your region, like you
Yeah,
have
that's
something
true.
to look forward to each time. You're like, are they going to make it? Or are they not?
does,
They're going to make it.
does the natural move? I don't fucking think so. Do we like it? Yes.
I'll tell you
Is it
what, though.
whimsical? Sure. Does
love
it
Kevin
move?
Costner.
No.
I'll tell you what, though, when Tom Hanks comes into the movie, it's like we're on the bus in speed, and all of a sudden, here we go. We're not slowing down.
It's like we're back on. I'll save it because we're going to talk about.
I
it
have
another
two
time.
couple quick ones. They're not really that fun to touch on, but many of the injuries that and bruises in the film are actual, just like they
Real?
get scuffed up a bit. And Penny Marshall had to get enough footage for the movie, so they basically just played a lot of like unscripted innings of just pick up
It
baseball.
seems like it was a pretty lively
so
set.
that's kind of
Yeah, it seems like it
In-
would be
in-
kind
in
of
that
fun
way.
to film, just because you are just kind of playing baseball to kill time. And
editing wise. I did notice one little like faux pas where like they were at the tryouts at Wrigley, and Harvey is what they call it. In the-
Harvey is based off the real
Right, yeah.
Wrigley and creator of Wrigley Field and Wrigley Gum.
Got it. Did not know that actually. One outfielder was running towards outfield, and it just wasn't right. Like they just used different.
Oh, you could,
footage,
yeah,
like
you
B-roll.
can kind of tell because the fence is not ivy and brick. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a wooden fence. That
Yes.
they're playing their games in.
Yep.
Back to what you said about them having like a lot of real injuries in the shot. Renee Coleman, one of the actresses,
the big bruise?
yeah, she received that big strawberry bruise. Was actually real, and it lasted over a year on her body before it completely faded.
I mean,
Kinda
that would
like,
take
let's
a while
get a
to
shot
fade.
of that. We need like
Ooh, that looks terrible. Let's zoom in on that. Painful.
So based off of the actresses, they played so much pickup baseball and stuff. Listen to this training regime they did. Before filming ever began, the actresses all had to hone their baseball skills. They spent 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 7.5 months.
That's a long time.
participating in training baseball.
Even Madonna
What?
and like some of the stars.
No,
that's what I
Madonna.
thought. I was about to say because
I assume anybody that we didn't discuss their lengthy career
yeah.
trained.
Okay. We talked about this earlier, so just to throw it in, the characters at the very beginning, the old ladies playing baseball, and the people in the Hall of Fame are actually the old ladies that were inducted to the Hall of Fame who started
I
up the
love
league.
that.
But this one,
didn't realize
this one I learned just a couple of ago. To piggyback off of that, the whole Rockford Peaches teams, they're all actresses, right? Mm-hmm. But they dubbed in the younger people's
Oh, yeah.
voices. I had always thought that they just put Geena Davis
In makeup.
and the other people were just real.
Fun. When I was
Extras.
watching the
Hear me
start of
out.
this, I was debating that. I was like, okay, it's definitely her voice. It was like, it's really, really good casting.
Yeah,
But-
it's amazing. So I don't know if I explained that. Old Dottie is not Geena Davis in makeup. It is just an actress of that age, but they dubbed Geena Davis's voice.
And same with Kit.
And then same with all of
Can
them.
I get to that in a sec? But just going back to what you said about training the baseball players. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's insane. They should have just done what I feel like. Didn't they do in Miracle where it's just most
Cast
of them
real.
are hockey
Yeah.
players? So obviously Madonna, Geena Davis, Petty, Tori Petty.
Yeah, Tori.
Lori Petty. I'm
Lori
sorry.
Petty, sorry.
Let me start that again. So obviously Geena Davis, Madonna, Lori Petty, Rosie O'Donnell, probably not baseball players, right? But you can train, maybe just find someone who's like more of a national athlete and then just train everybody else. Those are actual softball players.
I was surprised that more of the, not the extras, I get the secondary team, like the Racine team and everybody at the tryouts were probably in somewhat way real athletes, but I'm surprised the lesser characters that didn't have bigger speaking roles weren't from a baseball or softball background.
Right. I agree. Like you didn't need to have.
It seems like in most baseball movies, if you don't have, or most sports movies, if you don't have a big line, we're going to find somebody who knows how to do
right.
it.
To make it
Save
look
yourself some time.
And then you guys were saying something about the overdubbing, right?
Yes.
So I read the unverified, or I read the whatever trivia on IMDb before I watched the movie, and it was distracting at the beginning.
No, it completely changes the game.
But it's such a good like doppelganger like cast that it does look like Geena Davis.
This might be the best casting of an older to person, younger person in all of
Same with Lori Petty. At the end, it's amazing.
Especially considering they're already like 100% matured by the time we see them. So it's not like a kid to adult where you have a lot of leeway.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
right.
there
Not
is
much
no
to
leeway.
change.
This is maybe the best of all time. That's not a
And it
run.
doesn't look like just hair dye and wrinkles. It's a different person.
No, the facial structure looks like similar too. It's a really amazing. To the point of why don't they cast better baseball players or people with backgrounds in
If they
bigger
don't need to
roles?
act, right, yeah.
Madonna was supposed to originally be a shortstop, but she couldn't ground infield balls,
Mm-hmm.
so they just made her an outfielder, which is fine.
Also, Geena Davis was the only one to have an
What they do
actual.
with Schwarber.
All right, Kyle Schwarber, this is inside baseball, actual baseball. I can't believe he ended up in the National Leagues.
And he's doing awesome, and it's sad to see.
And we knew he would.
No.
All right. Anyway, sorry. Go Cubs, go.
This is a crazy fact that I don't know how this happened. So to teach the girls how to slide, just while they were in the 7-month camp, they were teaching them on a slip and slide. But the first 3 girls got concussions, so they had to stop the slip and slide.
I think we've all got concussion on slip and sides.
Well, no, that's what I was about to say. Isn't that meant for kids?
Maybe.
I don't think I've ever really gotten severely injured.
Think about this, though. Think if you went the speed of an adult
True.
and didn't go on one of those like 6-mile long ones that are made for drunk adults. That's how Megan learned how to slide as well. Her mom taught her to slide on slip and slide.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess
Maybe
it's
that's
a thing.
Okay.
I only slid twice in baseball because I didn't play baseball that long, and it really fucking hurt. And I'm like, why am I doing this?
Never played, so I never actually had.
Hands are dirty.
I've never slid into base.
No, I wanted that. I probably actually dirtied up my pants, like
Scuffed
I
them
was
up a bit?
like an extra in a set. And I got like.
You were
dirt
like,
on
I
my-
wasn't even on offense. I was in the outfield.
I did dress to go to some sophomore games when I was a freshman in football, and I just stood on the sideline. So on the way home, I did just like dab my knee in mud and be like, "There we go." Now it looks like I was out there for one play.
Do you guys want to know one of my biggest pet peeves in sports movies?
What's that?
I hate how dirty
People's
athletes'
faces
get.
Geena
And that
Davis's
happens in this
faces,
one.
yeah.
Big time. How much dirt do you get on your face in a baseball game? None.
Well, and if you do, you're cleaning
Dugout.
at least
Yeah,
that
you're gonna
off.
wipe it
You
off.
got some shit on your uniform, but you're at least cleaning your face off. Like,
Yeah, you're wiping your face off. Or somebody's been like, hey, you got dirt on your
You have
face.
shit all over
you
your
got
face.
shit all over your face.
It looks like you just cleaned a goddamn
Jimmy.
chimney.
You look like shit. You gotta shave more, man. Like,
To just fuel for our argument later on, is this like a classic movie? In 2012, the film was inducted by the U.S. Library of Congress for the National Film Archives. And then also the quote, "There's no crying in baseball," is number 54 in the American Film Institute out of 100 quotes.
Huge
So,
quote.
Yeah.
so it does
Huge
have
quote.
two things that just kind of, are fighting for it.
I'll say the AFI quote is more reputable. If you look at the archives at the Smithsonian, I
Some
feel
of
like
them are
that's a
little-
pretty personalized, curated list of
Okay.
whoever works there.
Okay.
We gotta have chips. I fucking love that
There's no
show.
board meeting. It's just some guy
Yeah.
on his computer. Just da-da-da-da-da.
I mean, this one has historical relevance to be put in there,
Which I think also
but I
helps,
don't think all of them do.
No. That's about all I have. What
There was
else
a
do you
lot.
guys have?
There's a lot
there
of
are a lot.
uninteresting stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff, but there was a lot.
Do you guys have any others before we move on?
I do have one more because we're gonna attack Geena Davis's maybe
Are we?
athleticism, maybe.
Okay.
I heard some people were questioning whether or not the behind the back catch. They were originally going to use a body double, but she's like, it doesn't look real, so I'll just learn how to do it, and she did.
They had a bottle double in the splits. She could
makes
do the
sense.
splits, but she couldn't drop into them. So someone dropped into them and then it cut to her.
can?
Yeah. That's it though. But it,
Oh, just another shout out. Shirley Baker, the girl can't read,
Mm-hmm.
is John and Joan Cusack's sister.
I did see her last name was Cusack,
And Cusack, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Cusack. I
family.
don't think she's been in that much more, but local Chicago girl makes good.
Oh, that
I saw a
that
few
just
other
reminded me
credits.
of it. It was mostly filmed in Indiana, you said, so
Oh, yeah.
kind of close around here, but they were actually at Wrigley Field.
And it looked.
so-
Yeah, it looked like the front entrance of it too.
If there's no ivy, you filmed in fall or winter or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? Or spring, but it didn't look like spring.
Anytime we do a historical event, there's always fun facts we miss. So if you guys found any cool historical facts, make sure you write in on the social media poster. Let's move on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
Question, comment.
Is it a question or a comment?
It could be an animosity. I assume we won't
Or
have
an
many.
animosity. I
just
forgot what
wasn't
it
sure.
is. Comment. I identify with old Dottie at the beginning, not because of any fame thing, and I'm scared
She
I won't be
doesn't wanna
recognized. I just don't
You
want
mean
to go.
like elderly
I knew that's
Dottie?
where you're
Yeah,
going.
at the beginning when she's just like, oh, I just don't want to go. I get it.
I guess since Dottie doesn't really seem to, and I thought about this, she doesn't care about the baseball league.
No.
Nor did she ever. I mean, she's great at baseball, and I think she likes the game, but she doesn't give a shit about that league from the get-go, and it didn't seem like,
She's above everybody.
yeah.
That's what she thought.
Like, okay,
and
this-
she probably is. She's just
It
better.
seems like she was.
Okay, this is a comment I kind of had at the end, but now that we're just talking about it, like, it seems like that was the highlight of her life, and she kind of resents it. So, like, I'm not really happy about the ending. Seems like she just had a rough life, or at least a boring one, or a dull one, or a non-fulfilling one.
And up until she saw Kit, she wasn't happy. I mean,
Real big question about that. Had they not seen each other since that summer in 1944
it does
or
sure,
42?
It does sure seem like it, but I mean, from the dialogue at the beginning,
The
when
Aunt
she,
Kit.
yeah, she knows that like they don't get along, and like the husband that she doesn't like being around. So it seems like they've interacted.
They just
but-
had a falling out and saw each other once in the last 40 years.
they had to be Hall of Famers to fucking make it work.
You know, George, just around all the memorabilia, just brought back all those feelings, maybe. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Side
We're
note,
all American.
except for the Swedes
And the Canadians.
Sick display though. Really like.
Oh, really nice.
Very cool display.
I would go to that. I would go to that.
Kind of
museum.
don't like the lime
I'd go to
green
that one.
ground going on. I'm guessing they're going for the field and turf, but it's not.
Oh
the
yeah,
right
I
color.
actually assumed it was like the locker room because
Oh,
got green
maybe, yeah,
lockers.
I guess
but
that
I
could
guess
make
turf
sense.
makes more sense.
Dottie, the people can't say she's like the best player in the league or like she's the best player ever. She only played one
She only
season.
played one. It's not enough.
Or if she was, God,
not
it must have
enough.
been a real shitty league to watch.
but
It's
you
not
can
enough
sometimes
games.
if you just know that they're the best. If you died from it, say she died
you
and
can just
didn't
see
quit.
greatness is what you're saying.
She just was. She was a different player. She kept
Although-
the league alive for at least.
She was like 5
1
inches
year.
taller than everybody else.
That's true.
I have one big thing, but it's at the end. I have to save it. But okay, Jon Lovitz comment, just like I always thought it was hilarious, still do. But now watching it, it is much more mean than I remember. I always imagined it a little more jabbing for fun, a little
Yes.
less harsh.
I
stabs.
remembered it mean. I saw it mean, and I've loved it from the beginning to the end.
I don't remember
It's
it so
all funny.
I'm with Cameron. I don't remember it so mean, but that it's funny mean.
It's also just funnier now.
I mean,
realizing
he's
that,
cruel to Marla Hooch.
Yeah, it's all. Oh God, that's all. That was my next comment. Is just like that father Marla Hooch scene is pulled at my heartstrings much more than I remember as a kid. My God,
It's tough.
It's a tough go. And we all agree that Marla Hooch's dad is going to die within 3 years.
oh
being
yeah,
lonely.
probably.
He's not going to make it.
They-
he had a
so-
heart attack probably as the train went out. I was like, oh, no.
It's kind of that thing with her throughout the whole movie. Just like they kind of jab at her throughout the whole movie. So
Yeah,
that's
it
the
is.
only tough thing in the movie. But
I got my hands up on Marla on this one, though, as long as we're talking about her.
what, she's a cutie or what?
That's not the thing. She just wasn't confident. I have a problem with Marla Hooch. Love her skill set. Why did she quit mid-season? It could have only been a month later.
I did have a question about that. She was also their best hitter, and then she's
Yeah.
not coming back until we don't see her like midway through the movie. I never really realized she's just gone.
no,
after
she gets
that.
married and leaves.
Yeah, she's just
on her
out.
honeymoon. As she's pulling away.
Marriage scene was pointless. They should have kept her the whole movie. Like, what are we doing there?
Yeah.
Also, animosity.
He wasn't
we
going
have to
off
show
to
that
war.
this changed lives. This changed everyone's lives, guys. But also, when
She
she
got
was driving,
drunk at a bar and met some random guy and married him.
change your life. We also animosity as she's driving away in her newlywed car. They throw baseballs at it. Come on.
I don't think it's baseballs. I think it's like
Confetti.
It's
Or
like
rice ball or
confetti, but
something.
like
okay, because they look pretty much like baseballs.
It looked like a baseball. I will say.
I would go back and maybe look at that. 'cause
He's
I
not
think-
wrong.
I think
okay,
they just-
maybe they are
I think they
It
just
might have been a
pegged the
baseball.
car.
Now that I look back, they may have just done it.
Also, I guess while we're talking about just throwing baseball animosities,
Yep.
Rosie O'Donnell just as hard as she can chucks a baseball at those girls. That's a pretty crazy aggressive move.
So I agree with that. It is crazy.
So does Kit at the end, right at Dottie.
Yeah.
breaks a window.
Also a
Do you
crazy
think she
move.
missed, or do you think she hit the window?
Okay,
on
well, okay,
purpose?
hold up though. That was at least years of rivalry and sibling tension. Rosie O'Donnell just was a little miffed about a comment.
To answer Mark, I think
True.
she tried to hit Dottie, but she's so bad at everything, it just slipped and went wide, right? No, I think she missed on purpose, right?
Cause an alarm. Now to Cameron's point, yeah, scary move by Doris there.
She's a hothead.
Well, can I
She's a
ask
hothead,
this, though?
hot temper.
If Dottie doesn't catch that ball, that just hits somebody real hard
Yeah.
in the back in the dugout.
Jesus.
There's
Lot
like
of
6
women
people
around,
right
yep.
behind there. I mean, that was going to be friendly fire 100% if Dottie didn't catch that.
What you got to do is the underhand, like, oh, can you catch? It doesn't, and then you.
Yeah, do you guys,
Stupid.
I know you guys are fans of Always Sunny. Mm-hmm. It's just like Frank. I
only
throw
throw
overhand. I only throw overhand. That did seem intentional.
Right.
I have a big animosity. First of all, I just want to make a blatant statement. I love this movie. If you go back to our episodes that we've already done on our baseball classics, be it Sandlot, Field of Dreams,
61.
and then 61. This is our 4th year. This is one of my favorite baseball movies of all time. I absolutely love it. I think it's a sports classic or modern day classic, what have you.
And the National Archives would argue it's just a classic.
Yeah, again, don't get me started on the National Archive.
Yeah, this movie's a classic.
It's got some of my
baseball movie.
favorite
It is.
performances by all the actors in here. I mean, Cameron's a big time Evita person, but myself, this is my favorite.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
I do hear him singing that.
I fly in a door. It's the other guy's song. Oh, sorry. That was a long-winded thing to say. I really like this movie, and we'll get into some of those likes. But I do have a real problem that I forgot about.
Okay, well, we'll
Once
circle
you
back to
remember
that.
it, you're going to remember it soon.
Can't
Bring
wait
it
to
up.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Can't wait to just ruin the momentum. What was my big answer?
I have one towards the end. Do you have something before that?
I'm gonna have a lot of middle stuff. Okay, I got something for it. Well,
Yeah,
one,
give me
we were just talking about this. So this is just a throwaway comment, but like the bravery to slide in just bare legs. I'm terrified if I had full pants and socks to do a slide. Well, I feel like their legs should be torn up all the time. And
I think they were. We saw their backup catcher.
Yeah. Okay.
You'd have to slide face first, so there's some sort of fabric on it.
And they do a lot. You see Madonna doing it pretty hard. It looks pretty painfully in one of the scenes.
I would 100% slide head first. Leg first, you're just getting ripped up.
But what I do want to talk about is that bus driver. Couple animosities. Number one.
This is just all in my like section, but continue.
Okay. Well, number one, like I get that the kid's annoying, but like get to town. Like now you just have to walk like 4 hours. I don't know. And number two, he throws just dirt in that poor woman's face.
Okay.
I've never seen it before. I've never seen it in my life.
I've never seen it in my life.
She has a terrible 48 hours. She gets the dirt thrown into her, accidentally assaulted by a drunk Jimmy Dugan, and then she gets poisoned by something we don't even know that night, where she's vomiting more than a doctor has ever seen.
This is all 7 hours.
She could die. Madonna won't even say what they poisoned her with.
She kept on though. No, she was with the team until the bitter end.
Yeah, I know, and she probably got paid nothing.
Nothing.
And it was a bitter end.
She did die
We'll
on the road.
talk about. No, I'm talking about the end of the movie. It really, really chaps my ass. But that scene that you're talking about, she's going through some tough times. But that's when we ignite Tom Hanks's character.
Really do.
Jimmy Dugan. Love that scene. One of my favorite in the movie.
It has two great scenes. It has quotes. It has the it has the.
I loved you, the Wizard of Oz.
I loved you, the Wizard of Oz.
That's my favorite quote maybe in the whole movie.
Actually, that might be the only one. I guess I was thinking when he wakes up and kisses her, but I think he just says, "Come on,
What?
sugar." It's something like that.
Oh, what is it, baby?
Oh, yeah.
And he just like makes out with her. She gets assaulted. He washes his mouth out with, what do we think? He's a whiskey guy?
It looks clearish.
You think he's a gin guy?
Vodka and doesn't
Most
seem so
whiskey
alcoholics
guy.
I know
I would
are-
guess a whiskey guy.
Yeah, I would too, but a lot of alcoholics I know, like real ones, are vodka people.
It's easy to hide and put in things.
Yeah, like your mouth. And your liver. Love that scene. I actually think that, I mean, this isn't obviously Tom Hanks' best role, but this is one of the funniest he is. As
really
drunk
is.
Jimmy Dugan. It's just gold.
All his Tom Hanks isms are so good in this movie.
I know, but it's
The,
like,
the shaking frustration when he's
Oh
talking.
God! At the end, that is
About-
you can't see us, but we're all doing
You
it.
gotta get the cutoff, man. He's like,
when he's just turning and still shaking. Oh,
you
God,
could tell
it's
she
great.
was like they kept her breaking a little bit in there. I feel like she was just.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
she was like,
That whole scene where he yells at her, if you just rewatch it for him, he's like, my manager, Rosler Holsbury, called me a big piece of fucking shit. And that's when my parents came down from Michigan. And he's just shaking and he's like livid. But one of the subtle scenes I like about his is when Ira character is coming and he's like, I'm really disappointed at you. And he's like, I could really use the money.
Oh,
He's like,
well, when he was like, oh, God, I
Right
do.
in the dugout there.
I could really use the extra money.
it's all gold. It's
Mark
just so
did say,
funny.
but what's the dick line? Because that's another just perfect Tom Hanks quote in this movie.
You look like a penis with a little hat on.
Has anyone ever told you look like a penis with a little hat on?
You're out here. Like, just,
I will say though, the in between stuff between
I like how even the Rockford Peaches are like
They all
laughing
let him
as
go.
he's like walking
Let him go.
out. Get him out of here.
I like it before he turns sober. Like the sober stuff between him and Geena Davis and changing their characters. That's all good.
I even like
They have good chemistry too. I think.
I do like
Good chemistry.
Even the scene, the turnaround's great when they're just doing the baseball calls and
Yeah.
competing with each other.
Oh, love that scene. Yeah.
And those two are chewing tobacco.
I don't. Okay, a little tiny
Pretty
animosity
good.
though. I don't like how oversimplified some of the things are. Like that was the moment where Geena Davis inspired him to coach. Handing him a Coke is the moment she inspired
Yeah.
him to stop drinking. It's all pretty easy, monumental changes for him. But
But you know what's
whatever.
fun in between two of those?
Uh.
There's like right before that a bunch of baseball montage, and then after that a bunch of nighttime baseball montage.
Yeah, this actually does have a lot of good baseball montage.
just montage.
It really is.
I mean, I think there's some real poignant scenes, but it's pretty easily digestible because of so many montages, which I enjoy.
So that's your argument for saying it's a long movie? Like you're like it's watchable.
Yeah,
for
I
as long
think
as
I
it
think
can
it
be.
moves quicker, and they do have some super serious scenes between Dottie and Kit, but it's not
And Geena
overhanded.
Davis and Dugan.
Yeah, but not as much. They have the bus time scene.
Well, actually, which brings up a question. Initially in the script, and they actually filmed these scenes, it was written in that there was going to be a slight love interest possibly between Dottie and
feels
Dugan.
like it, doesn't
Well,
it?
there was going to be a scene where they shared a regretful kiss like at one point in the movie, but they cut it out because it was just kind of too confusing. They wanted to keep it story-based. You could feel the
That
sexual...
wouldn't have done anything for me.
Well, hear me out, though. I feel like there's still kind of a confusing amount of sexual tension between them, but it kind of works without the kiss in there. Would you have wanted the kiss? Would it have helped? Would it
No,
have
I
hurt?
think it would have been a bad get. It would have been too much baggage.
You would have just been feeling bad for Bill Pullman.
What about if the telegram comes for Dottie, then something happens?
Then they
that
kiss
there's a
after
break-
that would
Yes,
work.
then you
correct.
need it to happen almost.
Then, well, you don't need it, but I think that would
Yeah,
have been.
That's where it would have happened.
I guess what we're talking about. I love that scene. Guy just
Yeah, let's
dedicated to the
bring him-
job.
Hey!
I'm from the War Department. Your husband's dead.
Worst. That's
I knew you were going to
Okay.
do a fucking telegram impression. I knew
the
it.
worst bedside manner ever. He walks in just, I believe, saying, "Oh, this is the worst." They can at least send someone personal when your husband dies.
Why is he
Talking
even?
to him, so why's he talking?
Jesus?
Why is he even delivering it to the clubhouse? I don't
Hey,
know if
found
it's
my
a,
way down here, guys.
Like,
Did he go to their group home and be like, I guess they're playing, but I have a job to do?
Well, even worse than that,
Right,
like
right.
so many people in the management dugout fucked up to let him get there, where they wouldn't let that wait till the end of the game. Ira.
Cameron, in their defense, he was from the War Department.
That's true. I guess.
I think he was so just slithery, just by himself. He just found his way past Ira.
No,
and
I can get back there. I'm from the War Department.
He's just
I did have a thought of
so
this.
clueless. Just
Do
found
you
his way
think? And I don't know how good Betty Spaghetti was. I can't even remember her position. I think she might have been first base. I don't fucking know actually. But no matter how good she was, did it seem like maybe Racine got a hold of that guy? It's like, we got to have you deliver this. Tell her
Right?
husband's dead the day before the final game of the World Series. Nope, nobody's on that. Okay,
So I was
please
taking a
fine.
drink.
No, I was just trying to think because, like, in my head, I'm thinking that the telegram should have gone to Dottie, and that Bill Pullman should have just never
It
existed.
would have been a drastic. Well, it would have been a different
It's a
ending because then
movie
she
like
just
that.
would
That
have
could have
stayed.
easily
She
happened.
would have stayed in the league.
If she,
Yes,
I don't
it
know.
would have been
That
more
would have.
important
She wouldn't
to
have
her.
had a reason to leave.
I think it would have been
Yes.
too heartbreaking for her to leave her husband, but she would have cranked a couple home runs.
Yeah,
They would have won that game. Okay.
Okay, I have to.
We'll work our way to the end.
okay,
It's a
You're right,
question.
you're right.
That's the inevitable question that we all have,
Yeah.
right? I do have a question about the positioning. If Dottie Hinson is the best, and this is going back to the tryouts,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that naturally underarm softball pitchers would necessarily move to be overhand baseball pitchers.
But if there wasn't even a softball league, I mean, I'm sure that it probably just was that was the only way to pitch at the time. I have no idea historically.
No, there was softball. They played softball, so I don't think that
I have
naturally.
an argument for this.
Did they play softball?
Yeah, they did.
beginning?
Yeah, at
the
the
beginning.
beginning.
And
Okay.
it's like fast pitch softball, right?
Okay.
My real question is, why wouldn't you, with Dottie's size, she should be a pitcher.
that
She
would make
has an
sense.
arm. We know she can gun it from the catcher position. She's obviously a natural
Jordan, did
talent.
you see the
A
acrobatic
natural-
move she
What's
was
the
making at the
second-
catcher?
I did.
She was naturally born to catch.
What's the second most important role in baseball?
catcher. I get it.
Catcher?
She's like
well,
she
first,
calls the
first
games.
base.
She would have been a great first baseman. She can do the splits, by God.
I mean, she automatically is a first baseman. She's a foot taller than everybody. She can do the splits. She should have been.
Yeah,
That's
you're
all I'm
right. I
saying.
didn't think about it until now.
I just think she's a good catcher, but we already have a backup. She should be in a starring role. Not short. I think she's too tall for short.
We don't catcher shame around here. Catchers,
I'm not here
it's
to
a
catcher
good
shame.
role.
I'm just
What
saying
did Megan
she
play?
should have been a catcher. Second.
Huh.
When she was younger, I think she played shortstop and some outfield, but eventually ended up
Okay,
at
a
second.
little flex there.
It's not me. I always wanted to play first base because of their glove was different.
Got to be left-handed almost.
I wasn't. I was right-handed. And I did play first base in Little League, but I wasn't like tall. I was just short and stubby.
I'm not sure if this is a favorite aspect or animosity, but I like that there is a spontaneous choreographed dance sequence in the bar when they sneak out with Madonna and just two men battling for her.
Nope, that's just typical Suds bucket.
Also,
just
Just a night at the Suds.
we missed
Can I
it. We missed
talk
this
about
on
the
Verified,
Suds?
but
Talk about Suds,
the
B.
main dancer fighting for her is actually one of Madonna's like
background dancers.
yeah, that was with her on tour and stuff. It's kind of like a known dancer. And,
That makes sense.
and he was also
Like
in
his featured
and he was
dancer.
also in Evita as a featured dancer. I'm pretty sure with her as well.
she danced in Annie.
She and Annie?
I don't know. Unverified.
I do want to talk about the Suds bucket. This is a really coming together moment for the team, even though they immediately come together because they all share a love for baseball and being women. If you take out that 16-player lineup from the Suds bucket, there's nothing but 2 women and a bunch of men in there.
Yeah.
Thank God the baseball team came in.
Yeah.
And then I do want to bring
Ratio's fine.
I want to bring up Kit's Taken Women, Kit's
Taste in Men?
Taste in Men. The first guy back in Oregon got a real creepy vibe watching.
Hey, you want to come park in my truck? I think he's like, you
I
want
got a truck. You want me to like skin you and wear you later? I'm just jumping to conclusions. It's
right.
Oregon, you know, they're the Northwest.
You
It's
say
scary.
Oregon or Oregon?
I say Oregon. I just did that for effect and fun.
Creek or crick?
Crick.
Roof or riff?
riff? What? Only if I'm mad at you.
Never heard a riff before? I meant roof or roof.
Bob on the riff again? Up there?
On the riff.
riffing? Roof.
Roof, crick.
Crick, roof, route. And then once we're at the Suds bucket, a lot of people are getting handsy. I get it. It's the wars happening. They're out cutting loose. They're drinking for the first time, it seems like, at least in a month and a half.
No, they haven't been able to drink on the road.
Yeah.
No men,
So
no beer.
no men, no beer, no cigs.
No cigs.
So we're all letting loose. But Kit is the only one at the end when they're being sanctioned out. Not sanctioned.
Just ushered out. And
Ushered out by Dottie.
Yep.
Her guy has his shirt unbuttoned, and he's really aggressively like sitting and watching her. It's just real creepy vibes.
she
Rewatch
has a
for that.
type.
Okay, fair enough.
Kind of just an unfortunate, also unverified. They actually had a physical location in Indiana, hard to say, at a bar they were going to film there.
Gary, Indiana.
But after
Indiana.
After the bar was chosen for the location shoot, they did some renovations to it, all excited.
ruined it?
Yeah, and then they were like, actually, this doesn't fit the aesthetic for the time period
you
anymore.
guys fucking idiots. It's not 1993 in this movie. It's 1942.
So they went somewhere else.
You can't be in an Outback Steakhouse, can we?
Oh, also,
I know exactly what that looks like then. They did remodel it to look like an Outback Steakhouse. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Just something else that, like, I was kind of saying some things I didn't quite get as much as a kid, like the Marla thing kind of pulling at my heartstrings a little more now. But I really like Jimmy Dugan writing on the baseball
love
for
how
those
that-
boys. Avoid the clap. Jimmy Dugan. I get it now. It's hilarious.
Didn't get what the clap was. Now I do. I thought it was literally like, don't take all the admiration.
And I like it when I used to think that too. And then, like, I like as he's running the running ways, like, it's good advice.
It's good advice.
I mean, that's the guy that got the clap.
I appreciate your admiration for Marla lately. I do.
Hey,
Actually,
some emotional
I
guy
flipped
now.
on Marla.
Tug
I
at your
definitely
heartstrings.
feel bad how she was treated.
The dad scene is the dad that gets me.
Yeah, it's very sad. But you
I know
can't
you're
quit
ugly
on
as
the
fuck.
you can't quit on the team like that. You probably had a week and a half left.
I'll tell you what, the Shirley one got me this time too. When she was standing up there, I'm like, oh, she can't read.
Oh,
Okay.
that one got me.
I do have questions about Shirley. One, it's sad because he kind of like, well, you can't fucking read. But you could see your name. My only argument is maybe she doesn't know what it looks like in cursive.
Cursive's
on
tough
the-
even for me.
But on the flip side, Shirley is completely illiterate a month and a half before she's reading a romance novel. She made leaps and
Leaps and
bounds.
bounds.
Hey, she's illiterate,
Just
not dumb.
amazing.
Hashtag leaps
nice.
and bounds, dude.
Hashtag illiterate, not dumb. That's my epic
Here's
ad.
maybe my biggest animosity in the movie is Rockford to Oregon, long drive.
Yeah, especially in 1944 without interstates.
And then to turn around at Yellowstone National Park.
Pretty far back.
And then turn around just to be in the 7th game of the World Series to never play again.
I also found a fact that there were gas rations of 20 gallons at the time. So, like, for 20 gallon a week at the time.
You were basically home.
So they would have had to make a lot
not
of
really, but-
stops and wait to be able to get
halfway
there.
home.
No, you're way over halfway.
That's true. Rockford to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
That's so far. That'd be another
way
like
closer than
4
Oregon.
days back then. Because there wasn't.
If I was the husband, like I'd be like, honey, no.
I've heard of these new things. People are flying now. We're going to test this out.
I don't think that we're in the 40s.
Or for what? A baseball game? You can't play baseball.
I think in the 40s people were just staying home. I don't think there was much travel unless you were like the Rockefellers or something. I do have a question about Dottie's commitment in that moment. She's like, I'm not a quitter. She said that to Jimmy Dugan when she came back.
When she was quitting.
But you fucking quit and left. You did definitely quit. So
I'm a
don't-
regretter.
There you go.
That scene could have been way better just because they both were like, well, yeah, I mean, I could play. Like, they can't. It
was
was
a little
funny
too
of them
coy, is
beating
what
around the
you're
bush,
saying?
but like I would have rather someone have been like, nah, like I'm coming back. It's me or no one else.
Yeah, she didn't give us a Mighty Ducks heroic
Nah, there was
moment.
correct.
That other catcher for years just talks about that time that Dottie came back and ruined the game for everybody.
Yeah.
I was doing great the whole World Series. Bad coaching, Jimmy.
She did look beat up.
She looked rough around the edges, but I think she always did. And she didn't change her
battered
size.
and-
Yeah, I mean, she didn't change or wash her clothes, it seems so.
Who's your favorite not main character? Mine's Betty Spaghetti.
Betty, yeah.
Just Betty Spaghetti. Coffee. Oh, wait, no, that's not
I
Betty Spaghetti.
like. She gets the. She marries a plastic surgeon at the end.
Oh, the
yeah.
Southern. The time has come. The one that writes the song.
Yes.
Right.
No.
is that not her?
No.
No, she's the...
Not the
she's-
one with Stillwell. Not the kid.
No,
the-
not
the mom.
her.
No, not that one. No,
We're
no.
talking about
Yeah, yeah.
the Miss Former Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
She
doesn't write the
moves
song,
from
does she?
shortstop
I thought
to...
so.
No,
I guess
the
she's their backup pitcher once...
Yes, she's the
She's the backup pitcher once, I guess,
Yeah.
Kit gets traded.
She's a closer.
Yeah. I do have a question about the league, and I didn't realize this until this viewing of the movie.
Let's hear it.
How many teams do you think are in the league?
There are 4.
How is
Many
it even
can't.
impressive to get to the World Series? You just had to win one series against, let's be honest,
Hold on.
not Racine
Hold on.
and not
Hey,
Rockford.
let's not knock the league.
Name the other cities. We know Rockford and Racine.
Kenosha.
Yeah, well, Kenosha
Kenosha.
sucks. Was Kenosha really one?
Yes.
I don't remember them all. So, did they play like 60 games against 4
Yes.
teams over 2 months?
In a lot of different towns.
What did fucking Hogwarts do
That's
in their
true.
Quidditch tournaments?
They played one school, Jordan.
They had
themselves.
a wild point system though to win it.
True.
It
I'm
wasn't
just saying.
it wasn't a final
Kenosha
series.
was the Hufflepuffs. That's all.
Racine was Slytherin?
Yeah, had to.
Just had to be.
Had to be.
Who can?
So just a comment. Kit was an emotional player, and they were right to trade her. She was easy. She was a hothead. She easy to set off, and she went for the high ones.
I'm not gonna believe it's tough to trade your starting pitcher though going into the playoffs.
Yeah. What did Dottie?
I didn't see another pitcher.
Kit's right. They're like, Dottie, what would you think though? Like they're gonna get rid of the best player. Like you knew kind of what was gonna happen there.
No, she didn't because Kit and this is me being
Oh,
late,
just that she is the pitcher.
She's an idiot.
Oh, okay.
Kit is selfish, childish, and an
No, I'm
idiot.
saying Dottie when Kit's like, you knew what was gonna happen if one of us was gonna get traded. Like it was gonna be me.
Oh, you're saying that? Oh, you're right. You're right.
I would have
I'll
just been like,
insult
no,
Kit
let's not
later.
storm off and argue. Like, well, no, I asked to be traded because things between us haven't been quite that great lately. Let's talk about this like adults instead of storming around. And,
Yeah, like he's even trying to be like, I'll do whatever you want. Just settle by tomorrow. Is all she kind of says when she like.
Tomorrow's the deadline.
Yeah, tomorrow. Just make something happen by tomorrow.
Trades were
True, I
easy
get what you're
back then
saying.
because I got a flat $75 a week rate. So like we don't got to even fudge the numbers.
And you're all playing the same towns and
they should have
traveling
made that
together.
number
So
way
Because-
bigger, just to make it seem like they.
That's an
had
accurate
more to
number.
lose.
I saw something that was real versus
Oh, really?
old. Yeah, they got paid $75 a week. That's
what's
a
the
rare
inflation
figure.
to now?
Don't have that on me readily available. We'll get to it. I do have a question. Oh no, this is more a comment, right?
Yeah.
So, I myself here in question form, I don't like Kit's character. I get that she's in the shadow, but she's the type of character that makes things worse than better. Mm-hmm. I understand where all of her like jealousness comes from, right?
Right.
But because this actor, Lori Petty,
Yep.
had played Kit, it made me not like her character in
In Point Break.
Point Break or
Free Willy?
Free Willy. I just couldn't like her in
I liked
both.
her in Free Willy. I agree with Point Break. Kind of
Loved
for
her in
some
Free
reason.
Willy.
I just didn't still. I'm like, you still
You just were hearing nag.
Comment. It's kind of sad, kind of funny that this is actually the story of the second place team, and even the winner of this girls' team just can't get a fucking win. They can't get a movie made about them. This is the movie of the second place team that didn't win the World Series.
Well, the team that did win the World Series didn't have Dottie Hinson.
Yeah, but we didn't.
But no team
I don't
really
know
did.
anyone else on that team though.
No, we know that catcher. She's kind of in it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I know 2 players.
And the first baseman.
Okay.
Just because
And
they're
then
batting
Kit-
so much, though, right? You have to have at least like a sort of
Yeah. Kit ends up on that team too.
That's what I'm saying. I know Kit and the
animated
catcher.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, it sucks to be. I mean, they still can't win.
We're working our
We
way
don't
to
even
the
know
end,
the
but we're
fourth
not
team.
quite
It
there.
sucks to be them.
True.
So if we're in Rockford, we're
Oh,
in
it's
Racine.
South Bend. I know it is.
Oh, it
It's
is South Bend. Yeah, nice. Oh, I do have a real big question about the early on in the movie when fans come to the games, but it's low attendance.
Right.
Why would you, especially in World War II when stuff is going on, pay admission just to make fun of girls playing baseball?
Actually, unverified. It was immediately.
I got one answer for you. Dog and a beer.
Dog and a beer. Oh, that's true. In real life, actually, it was a hit from the start, just because they didn't have actual baseball games to go to. So that was actually make believe that they had to bump up the entertainment to bring people in.
No, I
But
understand.
I get what
beer
you're.
night.
But I get what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
under. I mean, the low attendance I get, and then when it got popular, there's nothing to do, and there wasn't live sports anymore. What I'm saying is, why in
Would you
this
go just to
situation
be
would
a
you
dick?
go just to ridicule these people?
Jordan-
why waste the money
Jordan-
you don't have?
Jordan,
Like, you
internet
just
trolls
trash-
have always been around. They just used to be in your face trolls. They just used to.
They just used to go to
your
sporting
games.
They
events.
used to shout in your face instead.
All right, fair enough. There's been assholes forever.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a real question. When did they start serving alcohol at games? Could you buy a beer there? Dog
I
and a beer?
would assume. Yeah.
know.
I would assume since the inception of
The
it.
assumption of baseball, it's how you
Yes.
got people in the seats.
Yeah.
Guys, you can drink beer if you want, but
Yeah.
we used to be so more
Class, just classy and-
puritanical, and then we had prohibition. I'm just saying. Jimmy Dugan was drinking.
True. I think you could always be drinking in the baseball stadium, Jordan. I just don't know when it was provided.
Dipping. A lot of dip.
True. True.
Baseball has a lot of dip culture.
I really like that moment
And bubble
where
gum.
you
And
scratch
bubble
your,
gum.
scratch your balls.
What's your favorite?
for an hour?
I couldn't tell if you were
Okay,
drunk or
so
dead.
real
Well,
quick,
if you're gonna do it,
Ira
then
has
I'll do
he's
it.
got great comedic timing. Love his character actually.
That whole scene also leads into that. Like, well, I could really use the money, but I do like that. Well, anything worth doing is worth doing good.
It's not his best role, but it is so funny.
It really is.
It is so fucking
So
funny.
the question I think of the night is: did Dottie throw that game at the end?
I
yes.
love that was okay. Now I see why
I
that's the
think
biggest question.
100% Dottie threw the game.
We show a shot of her taking a hell of a hit earlier, where she holds on the ball, and I feel like that's just showing like she's tough and she can do this. And clearly she came. It seems like huge animosity. She came back to the team that was about to win.
They were going to win.
To throw the fucking game, so her whiny sister, who was kind of throwing the team down by trying to hit the high ones, so she could throw the game.
I've got to be honest. This is the first movie I remember as a kid and because I watched, this came out in 92. And so I was, you guys were 2 and I was like 5. I was sad at the end of this. I don't think I'd seen a movie with a not happy ending because I was so young.
You're like bullshit,
And
Blue.
this ruined me. And even in the time, I'm like, why would Dottie do that? That's so selfish of her, just to make Kit feel a slither of hope. I will say this: Cameron and I are brothers. If we were in the same situation,
I'd hold the ball.
I would have gotten Cameron out. I would have been like, tough break. I'm gonna go celebrate with the Peaches.
And I'm quitting after this anyway. I don't even give a
Well,
shit.
so where does the line draw? I mean, she was like she went up to the pitcher and was like, high fastballs. She can't hit high fastballs.
Oh, also, that was pretty dirty, though. So maybe that's
what I'm saying. So it evens. Like, I think she actually wanted to win. I don't think she threw the game.
I think her
she
name is
actually-
Ellen Sue. She was the pitcher. She's the new pitcher, the blonde one that was from Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah. She should have been like, Dottie. Yeah, we fucking all know that.
we know that.
We played with her for a whole season. She would not lay off the high ones. That's why we had her batting ninth. Check out the lineup. Dottie made that lineup. Kit's batting ninth. And you know why?
So I guess that's my argument for she didn't throw it. But I like the throw the game aspect. But you're right. Shitty to the teammates.
Terrible.
Nice sister move, though.
I would not-
Nice sister
So
move.
the sister
You know
move
what?
is if you look at it from that standpoint, it's just heartbreaking. And
You know what, though?
Heartwarming. Sorry.
I just figured it out. The reason she doesn't want to go at the beginning is because everyone hates her because she threw the game and she knows it's like, oh, it's not going to be good if I show up to this thing.
We're never going to
She's
let
Pete
this
Rose.
go.
Yeah.
Pete Rose didn't throw the game. He just bet on it. I think he really tried
Maybe
hard
she was.
to win.
I'm just saying, she's the Pete Rose of like showing up and just being
Oh,
like,
what we don't know
"How
is
you doing?"
that there was an inquiry into the game, like a commission, and like Dottie's been banned from Major League Baseball
There's a
because
reason
she threw the game.
There's a reason she only played one season.
She got banned for baseball. She's the best player ever.
Also,
to be
maybe
banned
it
from
lines
women's
up with
baseball.
just reality, but like, don't like that we don't get to see like an old ass Jimmy Dugan at the end. But I get, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his
that
demons
pulls at your
probably died early.
heartstrings. Yeah.
We could have easily done that because Jimmy Dugan's a fictional character.
Yep.
Fictitious character. It's like, why not?
Yeah, just have, oh, girls, I do.
58 home runs,
we
though,
ain't doing that
1936.
to we ain't
Not
doing
bad.
that to Tom Hanks.
He would have loved it.
Yeah.
He would have come back if as old Tom Hanks with,
And
let's be honest, a
do you know what's
Boston
actually kind of
accent.
fun? It would have been fun just seeing some old man with Tom Hanks' voice coming out of it. Oh my gosh, G Dottie, you came back, kind of thing.
Oh, sneaky funny Tom Hanks moment in this movie, which it seems like it all is, when he's just taking the batting machine and hitting stuff out. It's specifically where he's like ball players and he's hitting them, but then he hits one of his balls to shortstop. He's like, double play.
Double play, knew it, son of a bitch. And then the next one, he's like, yeah, rope that or something like.
Okay, so the biggest question is, I think Dottie threw the game.
I think
I
she threw
love
it.
that you don't. I actually do. I really do.
Yeah, okay, so you're on throw. I'm on.
I'm on throw the game. man.
I'm on. She blew it. Cameron, you're on
Shame,
throw.
never wanted to come back. She threw the game. That's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
Love that. 2-1 split.
What I love most is, I bet Dottie's teammates don't think she threw the game. Wouldn't think it was in.
Although the little sneer smile at the end when she with Tom Hanks, where she's like, she's watching her sister get carried off, like.
You know what makes me happy though? Deep down, Kit knows she threw the game, and that makes me happy.
And that's why they didn't talk for 40 years.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what happened. Yep, you're right. That's why the animosity was lingering for all those years.
I threw the game. You know, it's like, yeah, I know.
I think I know.
I think I fucking know that. Oh, shout out to the person that plays Dottie and Kit's dad, Clint, Ron Howard's real
Oh.
dad. I have a random one. It's going to take it back to the beginning. Sure.
Okay.
How the fuck did they find out all these leagues existed? I assume that all like these softball leagues to go recruiting. It seems like they're post high school and just in fast
Farm
pitch
towns.
competitive farm leagues. And maybe that was more common in the 40s. I'm not actually sure. But that is a doozy.
Also, I'll say like the scout character, the Lovitz character, like I thought it was odd that he really did just disappear after dropping them off to the tryouts. Like, well, no,
I'll see you
this is the
later.
person I scouted. It's
Yeah.
Dottie fucking whatever her last name is. Like, she's the best in the league.
I'm guessing-
going to get paid way more
He's
for
got to
being
get
that scout.
commission, right? Of some sort,
You'd
doesn't
assume.
he? Wouldn't you think?
Maybe
Maybe that's what that was, but I thought that was
to answer your
odd.
first question, I'm guessing just maybe like the female league already just kind of slid into an existing like formation that the male league had when they went to war, maybe, and that's why there's still scouts set up.
Why
No,
still
the
wouldn't
scouts
why
I
still
get
wouldn't it be
'cause they
softball?
created
I
it.
guess, which is
Well, that's I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, people like baseball more. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, let us know if you guys think if Dottie threw the game or not. I sure do. Let's move on to.
Oh, I did have one thing. I really do think that this is Madonna's best acting work, and it's not even close. Like
kinda
Evita's like
agree with that.
fine.
It's likable.
This is like the best aesthetic.
what was the
version.
other one you guys were saying she was in? Avita?
Yeah.
Was that before this or after?
I think after.
Right around the same time.
It's hard to
Maybe
say.
like 2 years later, like 96 maybe is my guess. Let's check it out.
We've got the time.
I think she plays this role well, and I really like her look as this. I think she looks appropriate for the time period.
Yeah.
More than anybody. I think everybody's pretty good, but moving on to recasting.
Recasting. Recasting. Welcome back. This is a bigger cast, but we try to keep it somewhat slim. Let's go near the bottom. Who do you guys have as Ernie? That is the Jon Lovitz character.
I'll go first because I don't feel good about him. I had twofold. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman would do great in however
okay.
he wants to play it, but I'd still like the slimy silkiness.
All right.
And then Rodney Dangerfield just as Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay.
It's not exactly Jon Lovitz anymore, but it's still good.
Yeah.
Got
it
it.
would work. That's me.
All right. I like that.
I had a Paul Giamatti
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that works
that'd be
really
really
well.
good, actually.
I'm
Shout out to
thinking a
Paul
little bit of
Giamatti.
the scout from Cinderella Man too, but
Sure. But he's got some. He could have some not even sneaky. He could play.
he'd have
sneaky.
some
be
great
mean.
lines. Yeah,
Yeah, he'd be good.
Very similar. Yep.
I didn't do a looks based, but someone who can be mean probably. I did Mark Maron. I could see him having some real bitey visual
So,
observations.
I love where you're coming from for what the character invokes.
Right.
But there's no way he could scout baseball just because I know.
No, I know. Okay. Hey, George, he's an actor now.
That's true, but he couldn't act that well because he plays Mark Maron, and I know Mark Maron can't scout baseball.
True. Mark, who do you have at the bottom of your
He
list?
could be very mean to women, I think, though.
Let's dip what I think is even lower is like Mr. Harvey.
I didn't actually get
The
a Harvey.
commissioner or whatever.
I was thinking about it. Who'd you get?
I did Martin Sheen. I don't know. The throat just.
I almost thought about him.
I don't know.
I got a weird one. I did Dustin Hoffman. Martin
Well, that's
Sheen
why I
has-
feel like he has to kind of have like a New Yorky, almost Jewy kind of vibe to him for some reason. I was trying to think of an old. I
didn't
almost
have a
put
good-
Mel Brooks in there, but
I
that doesn't
almost
work.
went Mel Brooks, but I couldn't.
I imagine it's just like old rich man, and I thought of the. I
thought Martin Sheen
the
as well.
dad of the nurse in Catch Me If You Can,
Nice.
and that's.
What about? Oh, never mind. I was gonna say Gene Wilder, but no, I take that back.
Yeah, I was thinking of weird names like
I mean,
that.
Gene Hackman.
No, Gene Wilder,
Oh, Gene Wilder.
an
that,
older version.
That feels wrong.
Yeah, I know. That's why
I guess
took,
if
that's
he
why
was more
I
eccentric and
immediately
went off
took
his
it back.
rocker.
Did you guys have an IRA before we get on to the players and the coach?
I do, and I feel good about this. This is
Oh,
the
you
only
go
one
first
I
because I have two.
Stanley Tucci.
Oh, I have
Boom.
him. He's my secondary. Yes. Interesting.
Okay,
I
so
like
he's
that.
on- he's on two.
I like that a lot. He's my number two man. In
They
this.
also play similar roles.
Cameron, you go.
Those two
Victor
actors.
Garber was my number one.
I like Victor
He's a
Garber.
kid- you always hear him
I see
kind
a
of with
picture?
an accent. He's in Titanic. He's the one doing the clock.
He
He's
made
also
the ship.
Jesus.
He's a shipbuilder.
But he's a Canadian, so don't imagine the accent. He usually.
You may know him from the original cast of Godspell.
Yeah, I was about to say I know him with the fro from Godspell too, but
Okay,
I do like
love
Victor
that.
Garber. He feels a little wrong from this role,
it
but
seems
I
a
get
little
it.
too lighthearted. But that's why I want. He seems like someone who would fight for the girls. You know.
I agree. He'd
I
be
did,
more nurturing than
yeah.
my Tucci.
A John Hamm.
Oh, I like John Hamm.
I would thought about
But
putting.
less madman John Hamm, obviously more like
The actor himself, John
Yeah.
Hamm.
I thought about putting him somewhere, but I didn't. But I will. I'll throw that out there later. But I like him. I like him in
it
this.
was more looks based, I guess.
A period piece. You think Mad Men? It's really always easy for me to try to fit him in one of these. I do it all the time.
I could definitely see him at the Suds bucket somewhere.
Let's move on to the players and start with Marla.
Lori Beth Denver. You would know her from all that. I don't know why.
That's
Just-
great.
it
Actually,
just
like,
popped
If
in
you
my
don't
mind.
know who
was
she is,
was not expecting that. That was
Educate
great.
yourself, YouTuber.
You would know her from Dodgeball.
And that's it.
Also, if not.
I did Debbie Downer, Rachel Dratch.
Oh.
Love that. I
Just
didn't have a
she's
good
already
one.
kind of owned that. Well,
yeah.
maybe not at
Especially
this time, but
where the unveiling would be all Dratch.
like
Her eyes, she's obviously leaned into it. It'd be tough to see her as a baseball player.
right. That's
Gotta
the only
be
tough
honest
part.
about that.
She's smaller, but
I didn't have a good one. I'm sorry, so my apologies.
No, I actually did have a problem with that because Marla does good, man. And it's.
I think it's her role. It's her quintessential role.
Well, I also thought about comedian because they're obviously playing into like a physical comedy thing. I thought about Rebel Wilson. I thought about Melissa McCarthy, kind of, but I don't know. None of it's.
I didn't have a good one. I like her.
Sorry, this is gonna spoil. We're at Doris.
Sorry, go.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa
is my
McCarthy.
Doris.
Oh, are we at Doris?
Oh, I kind
we
of.
aren't, but Cameron already said Melissa McCarthy.
Okay.
She's more of a Doris.
I'm doing this just because when I was watching it, Mark kept saying it, so I put Roseanne Barr in there because Mark kept saying Roseanne on accident and it accepted me.
I've
I'm
heard
like-
people confuse the names, even though they're just both robust comedians.
I
of
said
our
it maybe
childhood.
4 times. I'm like, oh man, I forget Roseanne's in this. And Cameron just keeps snickering. I'm like, son of a.
So
Well, there's one part we were talking about. It's like, didn't she like tweet something like, I think that's Roseanne, but she might have too. And I was even confused.
They both
I'm
did.
gonna say something that is gonna seem a little weird. I've always thought these two have been interchangeable in roles, mainly because of their comedic styles and
We're
their
talking
love
about
for Broadway.
Roseanne and
Nope,
and-
we're talking
okay,
about
okay.
who I'm
Okay,
Rocat.
sorry.
I've always thought these two were interchangeable, and I'm gonna keep it all the way up to this role. I went Nathan Lane.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I mean, for obvious reasons, we can't, but like, I get it.
That's just I've always thought they could each.
They're both
interchange.
very theatrical, New
Yeah.
York accent, and into
Yep.
Broadway. I get it.
Don't hate that.
It's my I went with Nathan Lane. I thought hard, thought long. I did think of Roseanne Barr as well, but
I just don't think. I just think they're the
not-
same
they're
person.
not the
I
same
literally get them confused.
I like both of them.
I mean, I
But
don't-
Rosie O'Donnell
It's
did
the
not.
name. It's the name. Really, it's tough. They're on TV a lot.
Who did you have as May, all the way May?
I went an easy, just upgraded it today. Should we jinx Lady Gaga?
I thought about.
She's the new
Oh, wow.
Madonna. She acts now.
Like, hold up, though. I thought
I don't hate
They're
that.
both Italian.
I thought
believe.
about Lady Gaga. She's a talented actress. She can do that. But I also thought I was trying to keep it to the fact that it was at the time overly sexualized pop star. So I went Katy Perry. I don't know if she has the acting chops necessarily,
No.
but I feel like that was almost just
No,
like.
no.
I know Katy Perry doesn't have the action.
Okay,
shots.
fine,
She's
but I'm
a-
sticking with it.
she's a
Lady
weird
Gaga, that trumps mine. I had
thought
I
about
had
it.
Courtney Cox just for looks, but
I like that too, but I
But
think Gaga's the one.
if
'cause-
you're doing a pop star, like, I mean, he blew yours out of the water.
Plus, we know she acts now. Now, I will say this: prior to the movie, I bet people didn't think Madonna could pull off playing a baseball player.
True.
And I feel the same way about Lady Gaga. But you cut around it, you're all the way May.
I was impressed with.
I
Did
was.
she do a lot of the dancing too, or no?
She did all the dancing. Yeah.
Love that. That was great.
Good. Great scene.
Do you guys have any other baseball players before like the main three stars of like Jimmy and the sisters?
No.
That's all. Do you guys want to start with Jimmy Dugan?
Yeah, I got a good one.
Who do you got?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah, that could work.
Broken down.
Especially at the time, he was kind of when he was his
well,
career was
even
kind
at
of,
that time, he could have done it because it
Yeah.
was on the.
Yeah, it was
would've
like
been
on the
nice.
downslope.
Keaton.
It would reintroduce you to that. He's more than Batman. He was funny and still is. People are getting reintroduced now.
Actually, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Boom. Thought hard about that one.
Mark, who do you have?
I did more chalk. I did Bill Murray.
Oh, okay.
Would have loved it. Who
It's
wouldn't?
chalk.
Well, funny enough, interesting. That's where I was thinking like John Hamm could kind of go there
Okay, actually,
Tom Hand could play this
because he's
role.
funny, he's
John
rugged,
Hamm's
he
good.
could be an all-American baseball star.
what's your actual one?
I've tried forcing him into other ones. Hear me out. George Clooney. Like not at the time, not where he is now. A little in between there.
I gotcha.
Past Oh Brother, we're out there. Thou, when he's kind of funny, he's an all-American hero, so it makes sense that he's George Clooney.
As much
Yes,
as I do
okay.
like George Clooney,
you
and
sold
I
me
think
with
he's
you sold
charming.
me with the explanation.
he can be funny. He's no Tom Hanks. I'm not saying it's as good.
Here's why I don't like George Clooney in there.
John Hamm better. Ah.
John Hamm's. Here's my. I have questions with both of them.
Okay.
Here's the George Clooney. I know how he's gonna play drunk, and it's gonna be like a slapstick comedy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that is how he does
He's
that.
gonna,
That's-
he's gonna be charming almost.
Yeah,
when
but
you don't want him to be charming.
it's gonna be broader if that makes sense.
Honestly,
for
though,
me, you're missing a lot of like the little explosions that Tom Hanks has with his characters.
Yeah, he's much more nuanced, which I think.
Whereas
That's what Michael
he has Tom Hanks has more of those like facial like explosions, whereas George Clooney's are more of a baffled like wide-eyed
Yeah.
expression thing. So he'd have him being like, "He's crying, sir. There's no crying in baseball," with the big eyes and disbelief. Karate. I'll say it every time. He can be funny.
I know he can be, but we haven't got a lot of examples.
Let's move on to Kit. Who's your Kit?
This isn't going to make me sound like a good guy, but I just picked somebody that annoys me because I'm annoyed by Kit's character, Amy Adams. She's annoyed
Oh.
me in most movies.
And I could see her playing baseball.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Amy Adams. I imagine Rachel McAdams. Sorry.
I like Rachel McAdams.
Okay. I like either of those girls as baseball players.
This isn't what I picked, but actually, a Rachel McAdams, Dottie, and Amy Adams Kit wouldn't be horrible.
That would not be bad.
don't
I
hate
actually
that.
think she'd be an okay.
I kept it actually in the Mad Men world and put Elizabeth Moss as the Kit.
I went R.I.P. Brittany Murphy.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. She's either the single mom or Madonna to me for some reason.
Kits are in.
Here we
Let's
go.
to the Dotties.
Just thought of Danny DeVito could be the scout.
Yeah, that could work.
It's a little too much, maybe,
Yeah,
but
you're right.
Is it though? With how hot Jon Lovitz?
not for this type of movie. You're right. Whatever.
John Lovett's best role, I think.
You don't.
I'm counting the critic.
Dottie, I'm pulling a Jordan Jones and casting Emma Stone.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had a really tough time with this, and I
Yeah,
don't
me
know
too.
why. I think it's because the stature of Geena Davis is very tall. I was reminded of this from my sister Amanda that she's in Mensa, so she's supposed to.
She's
come
a
off as-
genius.
she's in real life the actress Geena Davis,
And
is
she's an
genius.
Olympian. I believe she does archery.
Oh yeah, now like later on in life, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
at her age now. I had a tough time, so I did pretty much stature.
Okay.
I did two weird ones. I thought that hey, maybe give Lucy Lawless a chance and see if she can do accents. Xena, Princess Warrior, Lucy
Lawless. Okay.
And then Minnie Driver, you know her
Oh, okay.
from
Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting and pretty much that and other
The
stuff.
voice of Jane and Tarzan.
I didn't have anything really motivating. It was tough.
was tough.
So I think that pays credit to Geena Davis. It's kind of her role.
Yeah, it really is.
I went with Denise Richards.
Okay.
More of just, I guess, the pretty face of the.
She's just the worst actress.
She is a bad actress.
I don't think you need to like be like an acting like wheelhouse to like necessarily be in
Just
this
crack
movie.
home runs. That's true.
No, but you have to not be annoying, and she is annoying. But
Sorry,
attractive.
Cutthroat Island was the movie.
Fair enough. That was mine.
So, did any of us... I don't think mine was good. I don't think Cameron's was great.
It's hard to recast Geena Davis in this
Clearly
role.
mine was bad, so...
Really
I was
hard.
going to put Uma Thurman or just like Kate.
Ooh, what about
Kate Blanchett or
Charlize
someone who
Charlize
just,
Theron?
Oh, Charlize Theron.
Whichever one. What about her? That could be okay.
That would work for me. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. She's like a powerful, commanding woman.
What
Yeah.
about ScarJo?
She could definitely be in this movie. I don't know about...
Now we're just like picking like blonde actresses.
Well, then we could dye their hair reds. I don't know if reds was important, but they both had it. Just real quick, Bill Pullman. Are we just all in agreement?
Oh yeah, let's leave him.
Okay.
Just leave him there. Luke Wilson.
Dennis Quaid.
Geena Davis is a hard one for us to recast, so if you have something amazing, please let us know because it was a tough one. Let's move on to Mount Rushmore, top 4.
Mount Rushmore, top 4.
Mount Rushmore. It's our top 4 of anything related to the movie. This week, we're doing movies that are based around a story being told through a flashback. So it's going to start and end with an old person telling it. They might pop in once or twice, but for the most part...
A narration, if you will, at the beginning.
Yeah, and then maybe something like maybe in the middle, but it's just being told through flashback.
Also, if you want to know our top 4 baseball movies, go listen to Field of Dreams, go listen to Sandlot, and go listen to 61. I'm sure we did it 3 times.
Or something else, yeah. I'm just going to kick this bad boy off with my number 4. It was called The Ship of Dreams, Titanic.
Ty. Same.
That's your number 4?
100% Titanic.
Nice.
Man. Okay. Yeah, that's my number 4 too. I had it one higher.
What would you have at 3? Okay, that's a fair train.
But also, let's think about
I'll switch it
Titanic.
up.
That movie's got all the great lines between Kate and Leo. But the old storytelling with John Paxton and that guy,
that. The interview kind
fucking
of style.
hilarious. It's really funny. And I'm sure if you go back and watch the MTV Movie Awards from like 99 to 98 or 7, that's going to be made fun of, and it's funny. Check it out. What was your number 4, though?
I'm switching it just so it's, it's
just so
Crazy
even.
Sports. Yeah.
Nice.
I've actually switched mine completely while I'm looking at this one.
Let me start with my number 3 then.
yeah, it's
yeah.
only fair.
My 3 is The Notebook.
That made it into my honorable mentions. It used to be on my list.
That's my 2.
Nice.
That is my 2.
I'm sorry. This
No,
is,
No, it's just
No, it's fine.
100%. I can't.
yeah.
The weird thing is, on all of this list, the Notebooks are the only one. Like, if you cut the old people, I just like that movie as is. I don't need it, but whatever.
Hey, fun fact: in the foreign version, some of the foreign versions, they did cut that out.
Good call.
Just
Good
like
fucking
love
call.
story.
So, if Geena Davis is the best recasting of old to young ever with this actress,
Yes.
who's in the Notebook? Ryan Gosling and
Rachel McAdams.
No, Ryan Gosling to
Oh, the old guy.
who's this? Jeff Garner.
yeah,
Or Jeff,
it's escaping right now.
whoever plays the old version of Ryan Gosling in the Notebook is
Right.
the worst.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just awful. Like it's not even close. They showed pictures. All of a sudden, you got dark, black, thick hair.
My number 3 is something you kind of forget, but Stand By Me just starts with him typing at the.
Honorable mention, and the only reason I didn't have it is because he's not quite old enough for my category.
But it is. But I get it. But it is.
It is
within
a
that same,
flashback,
That
yes.
same
It's a
category.
retelling.
And I would even say it's like 40 years later, so it's almost the
Yeah.
same kind of time span. It's just usually it's told from an adult perspective instead of a childhood one.
Stand By Me is an honorable mention. Love that movie. I think it's the best movie starring a kid cast of all time. Best acting
I'd
in
agree
a
with that,
kid
maybe.
movie.
Or
And
dramatic, at
obviously-
least.
Yes. Sandlot's great. Goonies is great, but the acting in that,
River Phoenix kills it.
yeah, it's just good. Everybody kills it. Except the guy that plays the main character.
Number 2's Jordan. We already knew. Yours refresher.
My number 4 was Titanic.
Yeah.
My number 3 was The Notebook.
Because you had to switch it because of me.
Yeah, because I switched it for whatever reason. My number 2 is A League of Their Own. I love this movie.
For some reason, I just left it off the list because we were talking about it, but it would honestly make my list. It's like the biggest one I can kind of.
I appreciate you keeping it on the list. It's not on my list.
It is.
I'm going to do a sneaky Inception.
Oh yeah, that does. Yeah, that actually kind of works.
I like
Try
that.
to figure out how that doesn't make sense, Al.
No, it does. I
Hey,
get
man,
it.
they
Watch
live-
that movie
does.
4 times, you still
They
won't
might
figure
not have
the
physically aged, but they lived that lifetime inside their minds.
Can we real quick go? I think he's still in the dream. That's how I think it ends. We don't see the top fall, the totem.
never does.
We already
The kids never age.
We talked about this like 3 times, but there is an answer. When he's dreaming, he's wearing his wedding ring. When he's awake, he doesn't wear his wedding ring. So if you watch at the end, whether or not he has his wedding ring on is the tell. It's real because we've talked about this before.
That's bullshit.
Yes, we have.
I believe we landed on the moon way more than that one.
On the pod?
Speaking of the moon, Apollo 13, Tom Hanks. My number 2 is Saving Private Ryan. It starts with the old man at the beginning of the cemetery.
Great
Goes
call.
with the eyes.
Great call. Didn't you have it on my list?
That's my number one.
That's
Number
a
one.
sneaky one.
Saving Private Ryan is my number one. It's just the best.
Mark, what was your number 2?
My number 2 was
And it's not Tom
Inception.
Hanks on the beach.
Oh, yeah, it was Inception. Sorry.
Homeward Bound.
I completely.
It's perfect, dude. It starts with Chance narrating like.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
It's been so long since
That's
I've
why I
seen
watched
it.
the other room. I'm like, I have to confirm this.
So I respect it. This might be your walk off.
It's Homeward Bound, and it
I
starts
did
with
not see that happening.
For
at
how
all.
much you've been talking about it recently, you did fit it in. I'm proud of you.
And that
glad
is
that happened.
Roseanne Barr, not Rosie O'Donnell, right?
That
As the cat,
that is
Sassy
true.
the cat.
My number 1, I'm keeping in the Tom Hanks. I can't believe no one said The Green Mile. Starts with him as an old man, ends with him as an old man telling the whole story.
It was honest to God an honorable mention, and I love that movie.
Wait, yeah.
Another Tom
And I
Hanks
just
one.
watched that fucking
Classic.
movie.
I just couldn't bump anything. I have.
Yeah, let's go on honorable mentions. What do we got here?
So-
We could have bumped The Notebook easy.
Yeah, I like that movie.
The Notebook did my honorable mentions. I got it off for some of these big hitters.
really like The Notebook.
Grand Budapest Hotel. They do cut back and forth, but it is
yeah.
told from a
Sassy
flashback.
is Sally Field, guys. Come on.
Really?
Oh well, fuck me.
Big Fish. I was curious whether or not it makes it because it cuts back so much between like present
would
day
think
and
so.
that. So that I was confused whether or not to put
I had
it.
an honorable mention. Curious Case of Benjamin Buttons,
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I
but
wasn't
I just
sure.
don't like the movie enough to put it on there.
Phantom of the Opera, the Gerard Butler. So I think Shawshank Redemption's almost that, but not quite because it's narrated the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think the narrating the whole time is the same.
No,
No,
yeah, you
it
can
can
narrate
cut
the
in
whole
once or twice, but if it's constant
I
narration,
had
it
to
doesn't
do
count.
honorable mention because I think it was the first to do it, and it's considered the greatest movie of all time. Citizen Kane.
I was
Had
gonna
to do
say,
Citizen Kane.
we have to say Citizen Kane, but honestly, I've only seen it once. It's just not. I know it's a classic movie. I just
I've seen it
haven't.
like 6 times.
I haven't seen enough to really be the one to say it.
seen it too much. No, Citizen Kane has to be on there.
I think we actually had a pretty good list this week. Let us know anything we missed because I'm sure there's a bunch
There
in
has
here.
to be a bunch we missed.
Everyone, you know what to do. Anything we missed or you want to add in, write in on the movie posters on social media. You can follow us at Cult Classics Pod. If you have any movie requests, you can write us at cultclassicspodcast@gmail.com. And always make sure to like and review to help bump up our streams and everything. Much appreciated. We'll check you next time for the next podcast. Bye.